Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we're going to dive into the 2K ratings for the Chicago Bulls players that we have released so far. We're also going to talk about moves around the NBA that have happened. And lastly, Malcolm Hill is apparently coming back to the Chicago Bulls. We'll get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the designer. He is not in Packers colors, thank God, because we almost had to shut down the show.
You got to support the network, but it was like, y'all know what y'all doing, right?
Exactly. Packers colors. They knew what they were doing.
I said they're Utah Jazz colors. Seeing as how David Locke, owner of the network, hosted the Utah Jazz. Yeah, I mean, I give it olive branch. I got nothing.
He's host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central. And when we're not clowning on Packers fans and cheeseheads, we talk basketball from time to time. Now, Pat, 2K, it's like an annual release. Actually, I'll be getting my copy early. I'm getting mine tomorrow at 7 p.m. So don't bother me anytime after. Literally, after we record tomorrow, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going about my business. But with that being said,
you still get the disc.
Oh, no, that's not old. That's just I don't like relying because if your internet's down, sometimes it has to like when you download the downloadable version, it has to check certain things. Sometimes when you have that on the internet, when you have the disc, even if your internet's down, the power goes out, whatever else, I'm good.
The power goes out? You playing on powerless
generators? I have generators on everything. I have power banks everywhere.
Oh boy, here we go.
Listen, the weather comes down, the power goes out. I'm still playing. I'm still chilling. I'm still talking crap on internet. I'm doing all of it, bro. I got it all.
With a mini fridge.
With a mini fridge, yeah.
Oh, I'm not mad at it.
A couple of beers always in there. But with that being said, we got DeMar DeRozan coming in at an 89, Zach LaVine at an 88. Pat, how do you feel about these ratings?
I'm fine with them, right? Because I think they'll adjust during the season. We know how 2K is. I think 88 is actually higher than we expected for Zach LaVine, if I'm not mistaken, because of him missing so much time due to injury. We didn't know where he would come back at. Or I'm sorry, what was he? He was an 80. Yeah, he's 88. And then 89 for DeMar. I mean, DeMar finished the season as a 90 overall last year. So, I mean, there's only you hopefully are only going up in that situation. So I'm fine with either one of those. I don't have an issue with them. I think the interesting thing is, now I don't know if this is on the 2K rating site. Believe this is the 2K official website here. It's got the Bulls rated as an overall 82 though. How you feeling about that? Because
I don't know if the website you're looking at is actually legit, because 2K doesn't have a ratings page on their official website.
Doesn't have a ratings page yet?
No, I'm looking at it right now. I just wanted to double check. I'm not I don't know what that's
maybe
about.
Not. I see it's 2kratings.com. It's got all the teams on there. This is where they had the ratings last year. I remember that, but maybe they're just reciprocating that information.
They may be. But, even if that is the overall team rating, I'm not mad at it. I mean, and that's the thing. I try to be fair and honest in looking at it. The way that the Bulls finished the season, I mean, you can't really be mad at it. Yeah, they played better than that at parts of the season, but let's keep in mind, they won, 7 games after the All-Star break, if that? It was a 6 or 7, I can't remember. So, and then they won 1 game in the playoffs, didn't have the best showing in the playoffs. We know it's because of injury. We know and trust how this team can play if everybody's fully healthy. But you got to kind of be fair in it. I can see why the rating would be what it is. I don't agree with it, but I can understand it.
I think the only thing that I'd question, right, is kind of like where we feel. Like the thing with 2K, and this is independent of every other thing. Like the thing with 2K is if your team is 100% healthy, what is the rating? If this Bulls team is 100% healthy, the rating being 82 is a little bit confusing for me, right? Like I get it if you're taking into account injuries. If you're saying that this guy isn't healthy, this guy isn't going to be here, right? That's a completely different rating when it comes down to the player. There is an injury rating on the player. I would assume the Bulls have low numbers on that across the board, right? Like you're going to see Lonzo Ball with a 60 on the injury rating based on his career. But I think at the end of it, right, like you got to look at that. at least the question to me is this Bulls team 100% healthy rated that low? And that's kind of where my questioning on it comes in. Because even with that, right, like they have the Bulls rating overall, the average on finishing inside the paint is a 77. And we have nothing but guys that finish inside the paint. So there's sometimes with 2K is just like, hey, let's poke the bear. We're going to fix it in 2 weeks after the game is launched anyway. Let's poke the bear.
2K does, like, they had that one year where I think that they tried to like rejigger the ratings to where like nobody was over like a 93 at one point in time. Yeah. And I don't remember what year that was. And then like that quickly all blew up at some point in the middle of the season. Like it's going to be what it's going to be. At the end of the day, like I look at the 2K ratings as it's an interesting talking piece. I know people care about it because it gives us something to talk about during the offseason. People are excited to get their hands on basketball because they get to play this game even before the teams tip off a preseason game. This game, it used to release around the same time training camp. It's releasing 2 weeks before training camp opens now. So people are excited about it for that reason, but it's going to continue to change and update over the course of the season. And so at the end of the day, the players just need to perform. So
I'm going to be honest with you. 2K's kind of lost me.
Interesting.
2K's kind of lost me, bro. Like, honestly, like, it's one of those games where it's like, hey, I don't need this to be an MMORPG. Like, I'm coming here to play basketball, and I feel like 2K's tried to make itself so big and so open world and so everything else, right, that it's like, y'all realize, like, we want the basketball to be good on this, right? Like, we want.
I mean, they do that, but I mean that's optional. Like, I don't do any of that. Like, I don't do it. I play people online, but like the whole like create your person and go to the town or whatever it's called. I don't do any of that. I did that the first year because it was something cool. I started my NBA and I do my franchise and I rock that out for about 10 years of it, and that's all I do and play online.
You only
that's
a franchise guy on it.
Yeah. Like, I don't worry about all the online shit.
I do more of the my player. I do more of I haven't done a franchise in a minute, bro. I think we did like a joint franchise, but I always go to the my player, or I'll go to the I like the my player story. I'm that guy, right? Like, I'm the guy that's like, give me a good storyline, which, by the way, they're just ripping the storyline off from 2014 this year. So good job,
J. Cole in it.
With J. Cole. That's all they changed. Like, let's change the rapper.
I mean, keep in mind, they are pulling the story that Spike Lee helped write. So, I mean, if you're gonna reuse a story, I mean,
I'm with you, but come on,
I'm just saying.
You gonna make me relive Victor Van Leer? Put Vic on the phone. I don't want to hear another word until I was like, wait, is this Denzel Washington? Like, I need Denzel to be acting this out if you're gonna do it.
Bro, that was wild, man. That's crazy.
Oh man, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm 2K is just, it is what it is, right? And at a minimum, right, it's a talking point on what the season could look like. And you're gonna see a bunch of mugs doing the whole the simulation you did on it. So it's that's the best part of this time of year is seeing all the simulations go through. And it's like, okay, how accurate is this? Could we actually see this play out in the season? Yeah, because I think the simulations with everybody had the Bulls winning like 44 games last year. And I was like, I don't know about that one. That's gonna be interesting.
I guess we'll see. Oh, yeah. I just went to that 2K ratings website that you use, and the pictures that they have up here are people saying it's from 2K23. Like, this is no, this ain't legit. This is ugly.
It could be an ugly website, but so is 2K's website.
Well, no, I'm talking about they're using like these are last year's models. I can tell you that right now. So yeah, no. But the way that I look at it is this, right? Is 2K is if you're a basketball fan, and especially the people, this is why people just love talking about Trade Machine all the time, because that's all people do. Some people literally, they start their franchise, they're my NBA, and all they try to do is just trade everybody and see what they can get. That's all they do.
Yeah, and you can trade as many people as you want in that mug too. Here's a question though. Outside of the Bulls realm, but still in the city of Chicago, we okay with Candace Parker being a 93 overall?
Yes, absolutely.
You feel like she should be higher or lower? Or 93 good?
I personally feel like the way she's played this season and in the playoffs, and how she doesn't have the eye-popping stats, and I think that's why she gets the 93. Yeah, but she could be a 95, 96 to me. Just the impact she has on that team. Yeah. But it just doesn't always translate to huge stats, and I think that's what limited her rating there.
I think this postseason is going to give some people a nice size boost when the actual game drops. I think Candace will end up with one. I think Asia Wilson might end up with one. I think after the performance by Stewie the other day, she might end up with one, man.
Wait, do you play with the WNBA players on 2K? Have you ran?
I haven't bought 2K in 2 years, so no. Actually, no, I bought 2K last year, but I think I turned it on like once. 2K really lost me because I was like, I don't have this is the same game. Y'all turning into Madden.
The way you feel about 2K is how I feel about Madden. Like, I buy Madden every other year. 2K is an every year purchase for me. Madden's an every other year purchase because when I was buying Madden every year, I literally was like, "Hey, nothing's changed." Now that I buy it every other year, I'm like, "Oh crap, they've changed some things." When really,
legitimately, some of the things inside of the inside of the game actually say from the year before on Madden. So you're not tweaking. Like literally, I was playing like Madden 22. And there was like Madden 20 skins in the stands, like billboards that said, buy Madden 20. I was like, wait a minute.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
All right, next up, we're going to get into some of the moves that have happened around the NBA and how it could affect the Chicago Bulls. But before we do that, I got to talk to you guys about Built Bar. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Are you ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough. Covered in chocolate, that's right, Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to your new favorite. Cookie dough chunk puffs have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it, plus it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to Built.com to snag a box for you and the family. It'll be the perfect treat, or you can find a really good hiding place and hoard them just for yourself. Like all Built Bars, the new cookie dough chunk puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means they're healthy and tasty. Chocolate-covered cookie dough with a light, fluffy texture, it's so good. What's great about Built is that all of their bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides a ton of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. You're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puffs, whether you need a snack for your workout, a late-night treat, or just need to grab a quick bite. Built is the perfect protein bar, and they taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, fat, and sugar. Grab yourself a Built Bar. Go to Built.com and use the promo code LOCKEDON15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKEDON15 to get 15% off your order at Built.com. All right, Pat. So one move has officially gone down. There's a couple of other rumored moves, all in the Eastern Conference. Montrezl Harrell goes to the 76ers on a 2-year, $5.2 million deal. With Danilo Gallinari's injury, it's rumored that Boston are pivoting now towards Carmelo Anthony. And then a rumor came out today that Jordan Clarkson may be traded to the Milwaukee Bucks as they're trying to figure out a package to put together to try to bring Clarkson to that team. How do you feel about the deal that went down? Either of the rumored deals, do they do anything for you? What do you think?
Trez means nothing to me. I'm sorry.
Andre Drummond's better. We got him. That's what I feel.
Legitimately, like he's a nice offensive player. He's not a great defensive rebounder. He's not a great defender. I'm not worried about Trez, right? Like, unless you're going to play Trez and PJ Tucker on the floor at the same time and hope to God that they like combine because both of them do different things well at the same time. Like, I'm not worried about Trez. Yeah, like you hoping they do a little fusion dance out here. Okay. Like at the end of the day, that's really all they got to hope for with it. So yeah. I'm not worried about Trez. The one thing that I will say that I would like to see, I want to see AK do a little bit of chess move, right? Like here's a question that I think you really have to dig into. While I don't know if you can get Jordan Clarkson or if you would be giving up something that you feel might be a future piece to get him, is it worth it to go get him to keep the Milwaukee Bucks from getting better? Because Jordan Clarkson added to a Milwaukee Bucks bench somebody who can not only handle the ball, but can shoot the ball very well, somebody that can penetrate the paint, somebody that all the things that the Bucks struggled with last season from the point guard position off the bench that he can do. Do you go out and play a little bit of chess, play a little bit of keep away just to keep him out of a Milwaukee jersey? Because I'm not going to lie to you. You add Jordan Clarkson to that team, that is a much more dangerous Bucks team to me.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a much more dangerous team. I don't think the Bulls have the assets. I really don't. I talked about this even before this rumor came out. I talked about the Bulls. Could the Bulls add Jordan Clarkson over on Chicago Bulls Central and what it would take? And in me looking through that and talking about that deal, considering his contract and the, what is it, 18 million, I think, 15 million, something like that. The Bulls really don't have enough to get that unless they're giving up a key piece on this team, and I just don't see them doing it for Jordan Clarkson. I don't think they have the chess moves to play. I would love to see the Bulls do something petty like that. I would absolutely love it.
I mean, here's the thing, right? What do the Bucks have? Like, that's the thing. If a deal with the Bucks is getting done, what the Bucks bench isn't like, oh my goodness, these guys are dominant. Like, the Bucks bench was a little bit of a liability for them last year. So, like, I mean, except bringing Bobby Portis off of it, that was probably their best move that they had last season. But like, what does the Bucks bench really have that the Bulls can't match with? The Bulls not only have young pieces, they also have expiring contracts on their bench. I'm not saying that it's a move that you have to do. I'm saying that's a move to me that if you want to not put yourself behind the 8 ball in the Eastern Conference, right? There's a lot of these teams where we can say, you know what, but the Bulls healthy can compete with that. The Bulls healthy can't compete with adding Jordan Clarkson to an already really, really good Milwaukee Bucks team. Well, and you're talking about him for a couple of years to come.
I don't disagree with the fact that like you don't want to see them add it, but we don't have the assets to trade. Like, what do you think we have? Like, you could say what Milwaukee actually has picks, and they really don't care about the picks because literally adding Jordan Clarkson makes them a championship favorite, so they don't even have to worry about the first round picks. The Bulls aren't there. Care. I don't see the Bulls getting rid of any more first round picks.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, how much younger are you going to get? This is your team.
No, it's not. That's the issue. It's that if this is your team, if you're saying that this is your team, then you're locking yourself in to being a first or second round exit for the next however many years. This is not your team. You do need to keep getting younger. Or if you're going to trade those assets, you want to hold on to those and actually make a swing. Jordan Clarkson for the Bucks puts them over the hump. Jordan Clarkson for the Bulls, while yes, you keep them away from the Bucks, but my thing is that you're still not even you're not close enough to competing with the Bucks.
But you made your gamble year one of AK. Your gamble year one of AK is Patrick Williams. Whether Bulls fans like it or not, this is your team. This is your team has to develop. Your team has to figure it out. This season, you have to see steps. If after this season we're not seeing steps, we have to start talking about, hey, not only did AK miss in this situation, but he also put us behind the 8 ball because he traded away assets.
Because you're not. That's short-sightedness. The Bulls do not have to, and that's the thing that I fight against all the time.
Your fourth pick in the draft?
The Bulls do not have to. Not now. A 21-year-old player? No. It's not, the story isn't written on that. It doesn't matter the year. He's still 21 years old and missed his whole second season. And keep in mind, Patrick Williams was a player that was late to basketball in his life. So no, you don't have to. It's not the story isn't over if you're not competing this season for the Chicago Bulls.
So you're going into year 4 and you're just okay, Patrick Williams is what he is and we re-sign him to what he is?
No, you keep
like he has to take a step this season. He has to move forward.
To who? To fans he does. To AK and Eversley, it's long term. AK and Eversley aren't. If they were trying to win a championship right now, they would have traded Patrick Williams for Rudy Gobert. The fact of the matter is that they aren't trying. They're trying to build a culture here in Chicago, and because of that, it's not about next year. I'm not saying Patrick Williams doesn't need to show anything, but I'm telling you right now, they're not going to completely do a 180 on how AK is seen and talk about Patrick Williams and adding another project player that's going to take some time that because they could have added with their 18th pick somebody more ready to go to contribute right now. They added another player that while has some skills is still going to take years to develop. They drafted Ayo Dosunmu not with the mind that he was going to be able to perform right away. This front office is building for the future while trying to compete now.
That's your long-term plan. I'm with you, but your long-term plan has to start playing out. Your long-term plan has to start showing us something.
But what are you saying?
Why we like Ayo Dosunmu? Ayo Dosunmu was a surprise to everybody. Maybe not AK, but for the most part, he's a surprise to a lot of people. Your long-term plan happened year one of this thing getting put together when he said, okay, I'm going to trade for Vooch. We want to start winning right now. But we also are going to get a young player in here that we have to develop right now. And that young player has to start taking steps moving forward because with the 4th pick in the draft, you selected Patrick Williams. he has to start showing you something
to
that your
fans, not to
long-term
AK
plan's
and Eversley are not trying. Bro, that's a fan mindset. AK and Eversley are not in. I'm telling you right now, if Patrick Williams next year, he averaged 9 points. If he averaged 10 with better production, being a little bit more confident, nobody's saying that Patrick Williams has to stagnate. But this theoretical fan jump that people are like, oh, Patrick Williams needs to go from averaging 9 to 16 points per game. Guess what? If that's what AK and Eversley were betting on, then we're going to see Billy Donovan's coaching style completely change to build it around Patrick Williams. We haven't seen any signs or indication that they're trying to jumpstart and force that. What they did with building this team.
Who's your piece to push you over the top?
We don't have it yet.
So how do we get that? Those are usually your fourth picks in the draft.
But we're talking. This conversation started on Jordan Clarkson. That's definitely not the piece to get you over the top.
No, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, if you have to start making moves for your long-term future,
they've done that. Dalen Terry and Patrick Williams are long-term future,
but they have to start not Dalen Terry so much, but like the pieces that you have here have to start panning out. You gave Marco that 3-year deal. That means you believe in Marko Simonovic. Yeah. He's somebody that has to start panning out. And guess what? If you make this gamble that these are our long-term pieces, that is your team. You paid Zach LaVine $215 million.
But the thing is that's not locked into that. That's your team now. You keep building on top of that. You see, hey, Patrick Williams has developed this way. What can we do to jumpstart this? Bringing in DeMar DeRozan was to safeguard and say, hey, we don't have to put a lot of pressure on this kid and Patrick Williams right now. Bringing in Vooch, that was to do that. So yes, while I don't disagree that they have to start showing development. Yes, Patrick Williams needs to develop every season and shows and add some other wrinkles to his game. But it's not at the end of this year that all of a sudden now it's like, let's blow it up because these pieces aren't all of a sudden superstars.
I'm not saying blow it up. What I'm saying is this is the team that you have. You took your gamble on
what
your
point are you making in the Jordan Clarkson conversation with this is a team that you have? Because it seems like you just brought up a different conversation that we're not even talking about then. This started off with Jordan Clarkson. Agreed. Yes, this is the team that you have. We know that this is the team that we have. What does that have to do with Jordan Clarkson?
No, what you were saying was this isn't what the Bulls team is going to be. And so I'm saying this is
not the final version of the team. When the Bulls do get to being a championship contender, hopefully Patrick Williams is still on the team. Hopefully Dalen Terry is still on the team. Hopefully Ayo Dosunmu, and they've all developed. But this isn't the final version. You're not going to win a title with DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic in their run. So that's what I mean. No, this is not your final team.
The point of my point in all of this was, if you're holding on to these draft picks, what are you holding on to them for?
Because they're assets. You don't give them up for Jordan. I'm not saying don't give them up, but you don't give them up for Jordan Clarkson.
You give them up if it keeps another team from getting better in your division.
No, you don't, because you want to get better.
You're getting better. Let's not act like you're not getting better. You're getting better if you get Jordan Clarkson.
Not in any way that's significant. You're not getting
better scoring off of your bench. Who can score like Jordan Clarkson on our bench right now?
Go look at, and that's the thing, right? And that's what I talked about in my video on Chicago Bulls Central. Go and look at Jordan Clarkson. He's better and more consistent than Kobe White, but he's not giving you much better shooting by percentages. He's a more efficient player. He's a smarter player. He's a veteran. I would hope that he would be. But Jordan Clarkson, all you're getting at that point, you're getting a better scorer and a more consistent scorer off the bench. But the better Bulls version of Kobe
White arguably gets us through the first round last year.
Okay, but that's what I mean. That's still not a significant enough piece to give up first round picks for that. If the Bulls and what this front office has shown, if they're going to give up first round picks, it's going to be something that actually considerably changes this team. Jordan Clarkson,
but not if you're in the middle. Like a 17th pick in the draft isn't going to get you something that's crazy.
But nobody's saying drafted. I'm saying that you hold. What we've seen with draft assets. You do hold on to those. You package them. They already can't trade their own first-round pick for forever. So that point is all null and void anyway. The only pick that they could trade is the Portland pick. And Milwaukee can blow that out of the water.
So you package that and you package the players that are all on the table right now. That's my point of all of this, right? Like, what do the Bucks really have to give that's like dominating? Like their first-round pick that's going to be at the end of the first round.
Well, they have another first-round pick. Hold on, let me look.
From a different team?
They have somebody else's first-round pick.
Because that would be the only way for them to really entice you, because their first-round pick is going to be at the end of the first round. They're going to be one of the top teams in the draft.
You also have the ability. It depends also on the expiring contracts, because where the Jazz are right now, we don't know, right? The Jazz could be trying to do a soft, try to compete now thing, but they could also be like, let's get rid of all of our long-term money. And if they do that, then that kind of changes things. But it really
and we have
depends.
those.
No, we don't, bro.
We have expired.
What considerable up to $18 million? Give me the expiring contracts that are going to equal $18 million that the Bulls
you
are going
got
to
to
be
throw
willing to
some
part
pieces
for.
in there that are also going to be long term.
But no, come up with the money, bro. Like our bench is not that we're not spending that. Alex Caruso's getting the most money off the bench. You have even players like what? Derrick Jones Jr. single digits. Andre Drummond single digits. Dragic single digits. Ayo Dosunmu, second round pick. He's not getting paid a lot. We don't have considerable cash coming off of our bench.
You'd have to figure something out with the contracts, but hey, listen, that's what you got to figure out. Because to me, if you allow the Milwaukee Bucks to get Jordan Clarkson, you're putting yourself even further behind the 8 ball.
Not really,
that is a championship
contending
contending team,
and they're already that though.
Season.
They're already that though.
Yeah, and so that's what I was saying. My whole point of it was you have to figure out what the future really is going to be, and you have to start figuring out this year. You have to start figuring out, is Patrick Williams really your future this season? Because as much as we paid Zach LaVine, that's probably not your future. If you risk a 4th pick in the draft on this guy that you think is going to be this versatile, do-everything type player. Your team is basically what it's going to be. You're going to add a couple of pieces in there. You're going to hopefully add Ayo Dosunmu into this starting lineup at some point. Hopefully Lonzo Ball's healthy. Hopefully Dalen Terry turns into something. But you've got your young pieces for the future.
No, you don't. You keep adding younger people. You don't just either you trade the younger assets to bring in a surefire thing, or until you get that surefire superstar, you're not done adding younger pieces. Until somebody surefire turns into a superstar, you're not done adding younger pieces. You're just not.
You're just starting over then, though.
You're not starting over. You're continuing to build. And that's what AK did in Denver. You continue to build. Until you have your surefire thing, or if you're trading your assets for your surefire thing, you're always good. Because if you stop adding young pieces, then you really find yourself behind the 8 ball. Because guess what? There are not a lot of teams or players that are going to sign. The Bulls aren't going to have cap space, like especially if they end up doing an extension with Nikola Vucevic. It's just not going to happen, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. That you're locked into this lineup. Moving
no,
forward.
You're not. You're not. DeMar DeRozan's contract's up at the end of next season. You're not locked into the lineup. Even Nikola Vucevic, if he re-signs, let's wait and see the numbers before we say you're locked in.
The lineup that we know is a long-term lineup, right? Patrick Williams. Either you're getting rid of him and you're pivoting off of the first pick that you picked with the highest pick that you've had since you've been here, or you're locked into Patrick Williams moving forward.
Yeah, and you could be locked into Patrick Williams
you just locked
moving
into
forward.
For 5
that doesn't mean you're done. You're done adding young pieces, though.
For 4 years.
And just because that doesn't mean you're done adding young until you have to add to the team. You're not locked into you may be locked into Patrick Williams, but that doesn't mean you're not locked in to not be able to add somebody better, not try to go after somebody better, not try to develop in somebody better.
No, I'm fine with that. But at this point, right, unless you feel like the Bulls are going to be a top pick in the draft, or they're going to find this dominant player later in the draft, right? Now you're talking about a team that's already winning. You're trying to add veterans that are good. When DeMar DeRozan's contract is up and you've got some money freed up, you want to go out there and find you somebody else that can be the next DeMar DeRozan for you, or better. You want to be in that free agent market because now you have a team that's at this level and you want to add that vet that gets you to the higher level, not what Philadelphia's doing. They just keep adding old dudes that are kind of useless, like at the end of the day. And I feel like, right, like that's where teams kind of get messed up, right? They say, we're going to keep building through the draft, keep building through the draft, keep building through the draft. And yeah, like that works. But also when you add in that veteran presence that's already really good. And we may have that, right? Maybe Zach LaVine does take that step. Maybe Patrick Williams does take that step. But to me, that's when you start going young again. You saw when Golden State started winning, they didn't go to the draft. They say, hey, what's KD doing this year? What's Andrew Wiggins doing this year? They just re-upped with vets last year.
They still have key players that they've drafted over that time, bro.
They didn't use any of them.
They did, bro.
Well, Jordan Poole, I guess. Jordan Poole, I guess.
And what's the dude I had the center that I have the joke about all the time.
But Jordan Poole is also the Patrick Williams step you need, right? Like that to me is that step that eventually needs to happen. I'm not saying that needs to happen this season, but that's the step that eventually needs to happen. On the other side of that, though, you drafted James Wiseman. I forgot he existed. He's not even a trade piece because he can't even be a play piece.
He's already traded somebody who hasn't touched the basketball.
Real debate on this show.
This is our first real debate.
Like, as far as deep debate on this show. Mark this down, man. It's the monuments of Dayton history.
So whole second half of the show just really turned into a debate. It turned into first.
On Jordan Clarkson. Like Jordan Clarkson sparked it. Shout out to you, Jordan.
Hey, shout out. Overall, I just disagree that this team is locked in to anything quite right now. They're not. Like, people are going to bet, and they're going to be people willing to bet on Patrick Williams' potential until he's probably 25 years old. We can have 4 more years until the story's written on that. Danny Terry's young also.
Right? Because what's the re-up on that? Like, unless you feel like he's going to have this 3rd or 4th or 5th year, oh my God, he's all of a sudden one of the best players in the league, right? Like, if he's going to be a role player, what are you locking into? You missed.
Because you have no, you didn't. Because you have, and that's only thing, everything doesn't have to be a home run. Just like, think about it. People would have said that same thing that you just had on Wiggins. Once you put a better team around him, he looks better. You didn't miss. If you got a player that you can build around, the purpose, and that was in a weak draft anyway. If Patrick Williams turns into a player that is a double-digit scorer, let's just say 10, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, you didn't miss.
At the 4th pick in the draft, you missed.
No, you didn't miss. Not in that draft. It's all situational. You did not miss. If you got a piece and a versatile piece, people will say that he was disappointing. Absolutely. People will absolutely say that was a disappointing pick, but you didn't necessarily miss. To me, missing is when you have a player that's unplayable. Chandler Hutchinson was a miss. Chris Dunn was a miss. Those were misses. We don't know yet on Patrick Williams, and we may not know for another handful of years before we can say that he's a miss.
Listen, I'm all for the Patrick Williams love. I'm all for being in his corner. I rock with him 100%, right? But what draft was he? 2020? No, he's 2021. No, he's 2020.
20. Yeah, it would have been 2020, I think.
Wasn't he 2020? Because he didn't have his first year or whatever. But I tell you what, I'm seeing improvement from Isaac Okoro every season. He went right after you. Cole Anthony looks nice. He went after you. Isaiah Stewart. Never mind.
And even you saying Cole Anthony.
Hey, I said that and was like, never mind.
Even you saying Cole Anthony. No, Cole Anthony looks cool. Don't get me wrong. But he's also on a team that he's not going to get that much opportunity. And I'm not down on Cole Anthony.
My guy was Devin Vassell. Spurs took him at 11. I think if anything,
we can have that conversation.
Right,
you know, I'm also somebody who's super high on
Devin Vassell.
You know how I feel about Devin Vassell. Like, yeah, there will be not a single Devin Vassell slander on this here show. That's for damn sure.
I remember doing the draft breakdown, and Devin Vassell was the first player that made me be like, "What was that?" Bro, he was like standing still, and it just rose up and yammed it on somebody's head. I was like, "What was that?" Also an AK kind of player, right? Don't he got like a 6'11" wingspan as well?
Oh yeah, Devin Vassell he's one of those people who he can scratch his kneecap while he's standing straight.
Hey, bro, you ever seen that in real life? That's
I have, bro. It's the weirdest thing in the world, bro. Like,
we didn't even do the third topic, bro. We go get a phone call.
Oh, by the way, third topic, Malcolm Hill. He re-signed 2-way deal to the Chicago Bulls. There you go. Go ahead, send us off, Pat.
Hey, man, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love, man.
You can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls and making us your first listen every day. Now for your second listen, go and check on the Ultimate Pro Football Preview 2022. It's an 8-episode extravaganza to get you ready for the NFL season. The local team experts of Locked On Podcast Network, plus add a betting idol from Lee Sterling of Locked On Bets, all combining into the Ultimate NFL Preview. Search the Ultimate Pro Football Preview on your Audacity app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. That's Pat the Designer. I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls. And we out. We coming back arguing. Now I got to find another thing for us to argue about tomorrow. We got to keep arguing.
Oh, we gonna turn in the first take?
We're turning in the first take.